Just because most of the early uniques in Path of Exile 2 are rubbish doesn't mean all of them are. In this one, I'm showcasing the unique boots Corpsewade. These boots are completely build defining. You can create all kinds of builds around them. But let's talk about the negatives first. First off, it only has 10% increased movement speed. Movement speed in this game is slow as it is, so this is something you're gonna have to think about. In fact, there are only 2 rolls on this boot that are spectacular. The first grants us a skill called Decompose. Depending on the level of the boots, this can go up to 19. And then the second, which really complements it, is that we trigger Decompose on step. As you'll have seen from the footage so far, Decompose basically creates big clouds of toxic gas. It does this by consuming a corpse. With the skill at level 19, which will cost you about 3 divines for a pair of boots at the moment, don't worry, all of the ones below that while you're leveling are only an exalt or 2. This includes the level 18 variant, which I'm using on this character. Anyway, at level 19, 39% of the corpse's life that is consumed will be used to apply a poison to the enemy in the cloud. This is not limited to 1 poison, it will actually apply up to the maximum number of poisons that you can inflict. By default this is 1, but on my character this is 6. And that's because I'm a pathfinder that actually scales poison damage. Also note that the monsters do not have to be in the cloud when the cloud is created. They can enter at any time while it's still active and it will apply poisons. Now on a character that scales poison, these boots are incredibly strong. I'm also pairing this up with Despair and Wither to increase the poison even further. Now these boots on their own will not do anything because you must have a corpse to start the snowball rolling, so you will have to kill something on the map. The moment we have a corpse and we take a step, Decompose will trigger, which will create a large poison cloud around the corpse. This will expand to its full size over 4 seconds. Any monsters that then die in the cloud will be consumed, creating even further toxic clouds as you walk around. This means that we walk around constantly surrounded by a huge toxic cloud that kills anything that enters it. Nothing can sneak up behind us, and things that jump in are normally dead before they hit us. Like all other skills granted by unique items in this game, you'll get support sockets linked to the skill dependent on the level of the skill. As this goes up to level 19, we can have up to 4 supporting sockets. Ideally, we'd link this to things that give large amounts of damage to poison or more poisons. On my build, however, which is a poison build using poisonous concoction, I need those skills for that. So instead, I'm using it primarily for clear. I'm using Bursting Plague to create 200% of damage per second to the enemy. Also, Magnified Effect makes the clouds bigger. Momentum actually does seem to work. If we walk more than 2 meters after creating a cloud, we do 40% more damage. And then I'm using Persistence just to get the clouds to last longer. More optimal skills would be something like Deadly Poison, Swift Affliction, Comorbidity, all that good stuff. Now if you do want to use these boots in more of a 0 button build, then you could use something like Sacrifice. This skill allows reviving minions, such as Skeletal Clerics, to be classed as corpses and therefore consumed by the boots. If you are going to use Skeletal Clerics, then I suggest using something like Corpse Conservation to prevent them from always dying. This also gets around the problem that unique bosses that don't have ads cannot be killed by this skill. There is one big drawback with these toxic clouds. They are combustible. This means that they can be exploded to deal a small amount of chaos damage instead of doing a long-lasting poison. This is triggered by something as simple as just burning ground, which means maps that have burning ground are really problematic and will take way longer if this is your main clear skill. And clear is where these boots really do shine. In this one, I've given you an indication of just how powerful these boots are. What are you going to do with yours? I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below. And with that, thanks for watching, and may the RNG be with you.